Morning. Morning. You hear us? Yep. Okay, good. You hear me? Yes. Okay, good morning, everyone. I didn't hear anybody for a while. We're all here. Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. Asking. Okay. I'll call back. Okay, we ask you to please rise if you're able to for the opening prayer and pledge allegiance before we convene the Commissioners' public meeting. Gracious God, we thank you for this day. You've granted us life. Pray there'll be one full, your grace and blessings. And let's be good stewards of your will. May we be kind, compassionate, and understanding in our daily walk. And Father, next week our valley will be host to the world. As they enter the doorsteps to our region, may we be warm, gracious, and patient for all our visitors. Let them see the love of the people of our community as memories are made with their youth. Let it be an enjoyable 2 weeks for all the participants. Lord, as we draw near to the end of the summer, guide those in college that are preparing to enter the next season of their lives. Help them with the adjustments as they move forward to achieving their goals. This morning, we pray for your continued guidance. May our thoughts turn towards you for direction. These things we humbly pray in your name. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excellent. Yeah, that's what so. Morning. At this time, we'll convene our Commissioners' public meeting and ask for approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I will make a motion.
Do a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, do we have any public comments on agenda items only at this time? Any online? Okay. Move on to bid openings. Nikki. Krista.
We're opening bids for the landfill gas well drilling. There was one bidder, R&L Development Company, submitted a bid in the amount of $263,717.28.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Your reports. Moving on, Krista.
We have two cash requirements reports. We'll do the regular cash requirements report first, presented for your ratification or invoices due through August 14th, 2024 to be paid on August 7th, 2024 in the amount of $5,544,732.50. Breaking down as follows: from the general fund, $868,635.57 for a percentage of 15.67. From Act 13 grants, $146,298.22 for a percentage of 2.64. From other grants, $2,142,262.22 for a percentage of 38.64%. From RMS, $2,386,732.57 for a percentage of 43.05. And from escrow, $803.92 for a percentage of 0.01.
Okay. Got a motion.
I'll make the motion.
A second? I'll second. So Krista, when I first saw this, 5 million, 5.5 million. like, well, what's going on? And I was glad to see that 0.3 million of it was from the RMS, which is their own monies. Good news. And the other part was 0.1 was grants. So out of our general fund was 868,000. So I was relieved to see that
Yes, sir.
the whole amount wasn't the 5.5. Motion and second, all fair side?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So we're also we have been working towards a process of bringing to the public meeting on a monthly basis for public approval the expenditures that are happening through the credit card. And we're doing purchases on the credit card because there is a cash back to the county by utilizing it for purchases when applicable. This is the first time that we're bringing this to you, and it is for purchases that were made on the credit card for the month of June and July in the amount of $33,445.13. And the payment was made at the beginning of August.
Motion, Jason.
Oh, never mind. Sorry. I'll make the motion.
Second. So as we get cash back on our credit card, you can't do the commercial.
I don't want to. Okay. I'll let you do it. You can do it.
So this will start happening then on a regular basis,
That's good
monthly.
news. Yeah.
I know it's something that has been talked about ever since Mark and I got here, and it just
Well,
makes sense.
And the goal is once we're into a stronger financial system that can handle, because every transaction that happens has to have a manual journal entry to get it credited to the right department after the fact in the current financial system that we have. So once we're in a stronger financial system that can happen automatically, this will be used more heavily to have a more cash back happening. It's just we try to manage this as much as we can to get as much cash back as we can without overloading our accountants with too much manual entry monthly.
Okay. We want to thank Maya for bringing this to the team initially.
Right.
You working with her
Doing the best we can.
and move forward so that we
And thank Cindy, the treasurer,
Yes, Cindy
keeping our
also.
feet to the fire to get this to the public meeting.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I don't know that you finished the vote. I apologize.
We have a motion.
Oh, I make the motion.
Second. Second. All fair side?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, informational item, Sal. Boss.
Good morning, commissioners. Good morning, everyone. So Sal and I had the honor yesterday of going down to CCAP on behalf of Lycoming County to accept the Road and Bridge Safety Improvement Award. We accepted this award for the work we did on the bridge bundling program. We accepted the award last year as well, and we actually found out yesterday that Lycoming County is the first county to go back to back on winning this award. So we were really pleased to hear that. This has been a long time coming. I think going back to even before I was in the department 10 years ago, they were talking about doing something like this and using, whatever funds we had available. But this was it was certainly a rewarding project to work on. It was my first big project I took on when I became a transportation planner. So this has been, a real honor to sort of partake in. Obviously we have Sal, Scott, and Mark here from our team. We wouldn't have been able to do this without their work. And I'd also like to acknowledge Bill Minahan from Kevin Raker. They were our contractor for Bundle 4, which we won this work specifically for. Bill did a tremendous job of sort of picking up whatever, work that we needed to be done and emails at 7 in the morning or doing phone calls real quick or getting back to us from the site. Bill and his team did an excellent job on this, and we're super thrilled with the work they did. But yeah, it was super rewarding, and we're excited to add this to our collection of awards and hopefully They told us we can't apply next year because of, we're done with the program, but we told them we'd be, as soon as we had another project ready to go, we'd be back and putting in good work. And they were super thrilled with that. Chris Metka from PennDOT, he had said that, they've been using this program they've been championing this program to other counties, whether it's doing it on behalf of municipalities like we did or doing something similar to take care of their own bridge inventory, because they had said that the issue that they're noticing statewide is that small bridges are a real issue and they're not being acknowledged in the way that they should be. So we're glad to be on the cutting edge of that, and we're going to keep coming up with unique ways to address these issues for the county.
So, how many bridges do we have that we've done 19?
So the county managed 17, and then PennDOT did 2 additional for us outside of our program, but as part of the program.
How many bridges overall in the county that we have?
On our small bridge inventory, we have 113, I think. We had a couple that closed since then, but they were closed because they were either redundant or the municipality just didn't see the need to put the money into repairing it, and it's just so. But when we started the small bridge inspection program in 2010, I believe the first report found that like 40% of the bridges were in poor condition. And we've been chipping away at that over time, but this was a way to, not all of these bridges in the bridge bundling program were under 20s, about half were under, half were over. But I mean, the fact that we were able to take, even 8 or 9 off of that inventory of poor condition and move them into the positive is a huge endeavor for us.
So we have a lot of youth today in our audience, and what we did here was these bridges that your school buses go over, and you go over with your parents, and you might ride your bicycles over. A lot of them were in bad shape. And not too long ago, there was a bridge that collapsed out in Minnesota. There was one that collapsed in Pittsburgh, and it was due to not maintaining those bridges. And so what the county did is they added $5 on our registration fees. So that $5 went towards paying for the bridges to be rehabbed, reconstructed. And the nice thing about that is the townships or the boroughs where these bridges are at, there's no way they could afford those bridges on their own. Bridges are anywhere from 600,000 to a couple million, just for small little bridges. So a township or a borough couldn't afford that. They don't have budgets that big. This way, by buying into this program, they pay 5% of it. So their bill might be 100,000 compared to $1 million. And it was affordable for them, it was affordable for the county. And then that way everybody utilizes a new bridge for the next 50 years.
Right.
And this is what they received an award on because it's a new innovative idea. It's thinking outside the box. And it's a great way to rehab our bridges for a minimal cost.
Yep. Well, we have the award here today, and they made up a poster board for us. But if possible, we'd like to get a photo with those commissioners.
I did notice you're not going to win next year, and you already gave out your public excuse as to why you're not. So that was
Put in for it.
well, yeah, whatever. You say it however you want. That was good. That was well done. You hear these awards, people win awards all the time, and you think, oh, great, they won another award. But to win 2 years in a row, and I was just down at CCAP on Monday, and sometimes you forget how big the state is. And there's 67 counties, and obviously every county has bridges. And these aren't just like stupid little meetings that people, I think they said there were 64 of the 67 counties were represented at this meeting. So like everybody goes to this stuff and everybody's involved. And for us to win it once at it, mathematically speaking, you should win once out of every 67 years. We've won 2 years in a row. And it is just a testament to these guys and the commissioner group that came up with this idea, or whoever brought this idea. It is, we are really lucky. I figured it was you, but I didn't want to be wrong. But usually when something's good, it's a mark that is behind it. That's what So anyway, it's not an insignificant, we present awards and people get pictures taken and stuff like that. Someone let her in. But this is not insignificant. And to win it 2 years in a row is really, really special.
Our transportation conference room over, like right off of the hallway here, we have all these mounted up on the wall. I think there's a couple in your other boardroom there as well. But as far as we can tell, we've won at least 10 times since '97. The award's a little older than that, and it'll continue on, obviously. But we're winning at a pretty good clip here.
Yes, that is.
Well, when I was at a CCAP meeting a few years ago, there was a commissioner from Northumberland County came up to me. He had just heard about the bridge bundling program. He says, "Who do I get a hold of? Because we have a bridge in our county. We don't know how we're going to pay for it." And he had heard what was going on in Lycoming County and was excited to speak to someone. And so I said, "Well, contact our planning department."
Yeah, we've heard from Northumberland County's doing a similar program for their bridges. Juniata County's doing a program of their own, and Union County just reached out to us, CEDACOG did, and they'd like, assistance or resources from us. And then they're also interested in doing a asset management plan like we did just recently for the small bridge inspection program. So the other counties are certainly recognizing what we're doing in Lycoming County and looking to replicate that when possible for themselves.
And a lot of times, you realize you're going across these bridges. And then, down by the bowling lanes in Faxon on Sheridan Street, there was a major issue there for years. And how many thousands of people go down Sheridan Street by Faxon bowling lanes, go across that little bridge? And bridges like that throughout the county that people travel over every day and don't think twice about it. But if there was something that would happen, be on national news.
Yeah, I think the sort of big takeaway is just that, like, our municipality may not have had a bridge in the program, but I think the best example of it is the Montgomery Park Bridge, the only bridge down to their Little League field. So anyone who played Little League, locally and played a game at Montgomery Park was going across the bridge that I believe before it was replaced scored a 1 out of 10. So I mean, there's people were crossing these bridges, and in most counties across the state, they don't know their small bridge reports. We're one of the few counties that do inspect under 20. So just don't know. I mean, until something horrible goes wrong. Yeah.
Talk about how many small bridges we have, but how many larger bridges?
To be honest with you, I'd have to check.
We have about 100 that are over 20 feet in length that are locally owned, on top of the 113 he talked about. They're 120 feet locally owned. And then you got PennDOT, which has over 500 bridges they own. So when you add them all up, public bridges, state, local, you're over 700 bridges in this state or in this county. And that's largely because you have over 2,000 miles of waterways. Okay, so that means a lot of bridges, but we don't have almost about 2,000 miles of roads too. So we're a bridge county in that sense. And but when you compare us to the other counties, we are in pretty good shape overall, both state and local. In fact, we don't, on the state system now, when they fixed the English Center Bridge, remember that suspension bridge?
Yep.
That was the last of the weight limit state bridges we had in Lycoming County. So now all of our state-owned bridges do not have a weight limit. Think about that, because when you put a weight limit on, that restricts commerce, and especially these rural areas. That's agriculture. That's important.
Mark, what was the price tag on the bridge down the bypass, the Brown Lewisburg, the 1 mile?
Oh, the CSVT.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bridge approached. It was close to $200 million.
$200 million just for that stretch. So.
We're not building those here, but
No, but you just
yeah, you get an idea.
Get an idea of the cost of a bridge. From even a small bridge to a larger bridge.
And the other key thing is inspections for what's the minimum size for that?
8 foot.
So it's 8 to 20 feet. There's no inspection requirements. for those bridges. I don't directly produce a hazard, so I'm not gonna be jumping at 20-foot span. I need 8 or even 8-foot span in the near future.
We don't want any of the kids on their bikes doing that either,
Yeah.
okay?
And so I don't think my Jeep would like it, but you know, the fact that there is no requirement to inspect those. But we, as a county, are using our liquid fuel money that we get. So the municipalities are not even paying for the inspection. We're handling that. We're getting them an inspection report that tells them what the rating of the bridge is, what needs to be done to correct any deficiencies on the bridge, and an idea of what the cost is. So it's helping those municipalities to plan for the future also.
Did you ever try to jump it with your Jeep?
You know, and what we did with those Kendall parts, maybe we would have tried that, but not now.
The last thing I would like to recognize Bassett Engineering. They were the design engineers for it. And they were also the inspecting engineers for the last 3 bundles. They did a tremendous job, and fortunately they couldn't be here today. They're both Britt and Connor out of town. And then Maya and Heather from the county here, their team throughout the whole program, they helped us out a lot, and we're willing to, obviously construction change orders do not work well within the county's agenda, getting things onto the agenda and stuff. So they helped us out a bunch. And then even going back to just this past Friday, I mean, we found out on Friday we won. Our award letter had sort of fell through the cracks, and found out by chance that we had won. And we got a hold of them around noon on Friday to get us travel requests approved for Tuesday. So we're really thankful for working on it as well.
Well, we want to congratulate you and the team for
Thank you.
your efforts, and great job. Well done. Get a picture? Yeah.
Oh, good, good.
You've got enough awards.
Hey, Mike.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All right, elected official personnel actions in the sheriff's office, Jordan Bayer. Deputy Sheriff, first class, union position, part-time, $27.913 per hour, not to exceed 1,000 hours annually. This is an anticipated transfer date of September 1st, 2024.
Okay, thank you. Personnel actions.
I will bridge myself into the personnel actions.
Oh, that was good. That was good. That was good. It took them 20 minutes to come up with it.
It did. I sat over there sweating like crazy thinking of it. So approve the following personnel actions as conditional offers of employment, subject to the successful completion of a background check and all other employment conditions as outlined here in attachment A. In the prison, Samuel Hostrander, correctional officer, union position, part-time, $20.70 per hour, not to exceed 1,000 hours annually. Anticipated transfer date, August 18th, 2024. In the prison, Michael Grosso, correctional officer, union, full-time, $20 per hour, 80 hours per pay period. Anticipated start date, August 19th, 2024. Also in the prison, Alexis Carey, correctional officer, union position, full-time, $20 per hour, 80 hours per pay period with an anticipated start date, August 26th, 2024. In the pre-release center, Bashira Duamoral, resident supervisor 1, union position, full-time, $18.64 per hour, 80 hours per pay period. Anticipated start date, August 26, 2024. And the final one here in the juvenile probation office, Jesse Wagner, juvenile probation officer, union position, full-time, $21.81 per hour, 75 hours per pay period with an anticipated transfer date of August 18th, 2024.
Yeah, motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah. Thanks.
I will continue on this bridge for action item 6.1. Approve the amendment to policy 508, section E, the Lycoming County Government Service Awards to service pins for 10, 20, 30, 35, and 40 years of service. And then the award of a County of Lycoming mantle clock for those who retire with 20 or more years of full-time service.
Motion.
I would make the motion.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay, now you can take the exit off the bridge.
It's a good thing we're voting on mantle clocks in the public meeting.
6.2, Commissioner seeking your approval. Sullivan County intergovernmental agreement with Lycoming County to house their inmates.
Yeah, motion.
I'll make the motion.
Have a second. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We have Nancy? Nancy, you with us? Here.
Again. Commissioner seeking your approval on the agreement with Space National Centers 2024 budgeted item. Fact sheet talks about 45% increase residential services, $6.95 a day, $6 a day. This is throughout. This is a psychiatric hospital and a comprehensive range of residential treatment programs. As like all of them, we have contracts with all these places to go to.
As needed.
As needed, yeah. Okay,
I'll make the motion.
a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 0.4, seeking your approval on the agreement with Cornell and Brax LLC. 20 budgeted item. A multitude of services and programs that they offer. Looking at from 4.75% increase to 20% increase in the different services that they offer.
Yeah, motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, John. So we got some exciting news here and some young folks anticipating the announcement and vote.
It's a pretty fun project. So on the agenda, looking for your approval today is a $250,000 grant to the city of Williamsport for a mountain bike skills park improvement project at Shaw Park within the city side. The grant contract kind of lays out the responsibilities of the county and the city and how we work together. It's kind of the framework of the whole thing. But you know, this only kind of formalizes what we've already been doing, which has been nice. I guess starting with some history here, last summer, the mountain bike team came to a commissioners meeting to kind of provide some feedback on what they see as a need within Lycoming County, motivated you guys. And, you know, when I got back from vacation, I was told I needed to work on some mountain bike projects, which was pretty awesome. I can't complain about that. But since then, we looked at how to fund it. We've decided that American Rescue Plan dollars is outside of the county general fund category would be what we use. We came up with a budget to kind of help figure out how to get this thing built. We looked around and landed on the city because, as luck would have it, they were about to become the recipient of a pump track, just a pump track grant from DCNR. So we met with the mayor and his staff to see if we can help augment that by including more features through an additional grant to them. They were receptive. And then over the winter and into the spring of this year, we worked on an RFP to hire a design consultant called Pillar, who we've now had one steering committee meeting with to kind of get this project launched and off the ground. So, you know, going forward, we'll be looking to do outreach to the community, see what kind of features are needed or desired in that park, and we proceed to construction fairly quickly.
So it's a good example of using the ARPA monies and partnering with the city on the project and leveraging those dollars.
Their grant was for almost 250,000. So I mean, beyond that, I think there's about a little over $500,000 in the total budget for this project.
Great.
So, you know, we were able to double the size to add to that scope and get those additional features.
It gives you guys a home to go and utilize and have fun. You impressed us last time when you were here, you brought your bikes. We asked you this time not to bring the bikes to the third floor. We didn't want them in the elevator across our new carpets, so we appreciate that. So if they're parked outside, that's cool. But the old building was fine. It was on the first floor, but it was neat to see your enthusiasm, your excitement. And we look forward to coming out and see you at the park and having fun with it. But again, it's ARPA dollars. We took it out of the recreational section of our budget with the ARPA dollars. So it's a win-win for everybody. And it's great partnering with the city on the project.
I do think we have an employee that brings his bike in the elevator and brings it up to the third floor, but I'm not sure.
I just want, well, for the kids, first of all, we know you're all excited about going back to school. So we wanted to kind of help get you ready so you could sit here for 45 minutes and listen to old people babble about stuff they don't really care about. So that was why we made you wait this long before we got to it. The other, just as life goes, people do lots of projects and governments dedicate monies to lots of projects, and somebody does it, and sometimes it's done well and sometimes it's done great, sometimes it's done decently. You guys are just lucky that on staff we have someone like John who knows this stuff, who loves this stuff, because it's going to be done really well. And it's just kind of dumb luck that of the hobbies that, you know, that this is his, and that he's in the position where he's at. You know, he's not an accountant, he's in the planning department. This is what he loves. So it's a benefit for the county, and it's just an aspect that we got lucky, but it's going to be done well. We have no doubt that it's going to be done well, because he won't not do well because he loves it. So we're lucky for that. I'm sure you guys, I hope you guys know how lucky you are too, because it's not going to be done for him. No pressure.
Yeah. I think they might have some
Yeah,
comments. I don't
absolutely.
know
We
if
want to hear from them.
For those who haven't dozed off, you can
Yeah.
come on up. And
Anyone would like to come up? And we have some adults that lead the crew. Come on up to the podium, please, and introduce yourselves. Kids, any kids that want to come up and get on YouTube, come on up. You'll be on YouTube then for life. Come on up.
yeah, let's talk to the kid who wrecked. What did you do? I can tell.
Coaches want to join us?
Come on,
Sue,
back here taking
Jessica.
pictures.
on around.
And I know you have some more kids. How many kids do you have total?
We have 25 athletes, student athletes on our roster. We're all volunteer coaches. We have 17 or 18 coaches, and some of us are parents of kids on the team, but many of us aren't. So we have a really dedicated crew. And so what I wanted to do is just introduce what we do. We represent many different townships in the county, not just right here in Williamsport or South Williamsport. We practice locally and then we compete statewide. We compete as far away as down near Philly, just in Maryland, Delaware. And we are actually going to be hosting a race. We'll tell you about that a little bit. But mainly today, what I wanted to do is give you our unabridged thank you. We really appreciate the dedication of the staff and the commissioners to help us develop a place where we can practice, because we don't have a dedicated practice facility. So, and I do want to turn it over to Coach Joe Tavani to tell us a little bit about what we're doing.
I wore.
Did they not give you a shirt?
Well, I wore a different shirt on purpose because this is our 10th season, and this was our first jersey. We've come a long way. But I also handed out shirts for some of our
You
students.
just wanted to show that it still fits.
Yes, got me. Anyway, we've been in the county for 10 years, and as John said, we have student athletes from across the county. Last year, sure many of you have heard about the mini Baja that happened at Penn College, and hearing that, our team went to the college and talked with President Reed and posed an idea of being interested in hosting a statewide mountain bike event. So there are conference events and there's state events. There's 3 state events this year. So we wanted to invite you and the public on September 7th and 8th. There'll be a statewide event hosted at the Earth Science Center over in the Allenwood area. There will be probably in the neighborhood of 900 to 1,000 students, spanning 85 teams across the state. And that, as John said, I as well want to express my appreciation. Last year, decided to bring something like this to the community.
What is your age range of riders?
We start with 6th graders and go all the way through 12th graders. Yeah. And one other thing I should mention is that we don't just ride our bikes and race them. We also volunteer to help maintain the trails. And we have built the race course that's going to be where we're hosting this race. So I don't have a tally exactly for all the hours, but we invest hundreds of man hours volunteering to maintain and clean up the trails that we all enjoy in Lycoming County, on DCNR lands, other public lands where we Ryder Park, we pick up sticks, we back vegetation, and make it useful for not just bike riders, but also hikers, runners, dog walkers.
Great. Well, thank you. Appreciate everybody being here.
Anybody else? Any kids want to say anything? Or you just want to go sit down again?
Okay, can I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
Can we find out where he crashed and why?
Jason, 6.6.
No, we didn't even give him a chance.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning, Director. Commissioners, first item for approval, RMS 6.6. This is vote to approve replacement parts for Excelsior blower system, the amount of $17,151.35. This is under our 2024 budget for maintenance repair. It's parts that go into our flare yard.
Okay, motion?
I'll make the motion.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Jason, just 1 second. You folks want to leave, you're welcome to leave. You don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting.
Well, we're almost done and you're
So-
part of my comment. So if you want to stick for 5 more minutes, that wouldn't be bad.
You might want to leave before his comment. Trust me.
He
from-
wants to leave, but
Trust
he's
me from
not.
experience, you might want to leave before his comments.
He's not allowed.
No, they're open now. I made sure they were open.
Let them leave before Sheriff Lusk gets, here. Would you please?
Wait, it's Lusk talking.
Back there.
He's not on the agenda.
Okay, next.
Commissioner 6.7, vote to approve the amount of $46,130. This is to PP&L. This will build the poles in the line in off of Allen Camp Lane, basically from the golf course into the Unicorn building. This is to get the Unicorn building back up and powered.
Okay, motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Second. All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you,
Okay,
Commissioner.
thank you, Jason.
6.8, Forrest.
Morning.
Morning.
Can I say something real quick about the mountain biking?
Nope.
Your description of going out there and, cleaning up trails that are good for the rest of the public, it brought back some memories for me because many years ago, too many years ago, that was my own Eagle Scout project. We cleared up trails behind my high school where I grew up in my own county, for our cross-country team, which I was on. And it's great when you have something that you're passionate about, that you enjoy doing, and you still find a way to make it serve the community, serve the public. And that's fantastic. So thanks for bringing back that memory for me. The agenda item today that I have is just our grant application, our annual Act 88 of 2022.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Can you tell the kids what you do?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm the director of elections for the county. So elections, voter registration. Most days it's not that interesting.
Especially today.
A couple days a year it is.
We'll be in November.
Yeah, that's true. Somebody told me it's a presidential year this year. So I guess at some point it'll get exciting. I'm hanging on, waiting for that. So yeah, we sometimes I'm up here, we have grant agreements like today. Other times maybe I got to spend some money instead of get some money. But we do elections, voter registration. We have 80 voting precincts in this county. So depending on where you live, you've got a polling place near you. And we have to make sure there's a polling place, open at every one of those municipalities on election day. We have to make sure people are registered. We have accurate voting rolls throughout the year for those 2 days. We have to make sure people who want to vote by mail are able to do that. We maintain the county's voting system. Any election you have, it's amazing the amount of moving parts that there are and everything that has to work together just for a 13-hour day when the polls are open. You've got those 80 precincts. You've got upwards of 500 poll workers that have to staff them. Then you've got 70,000 registered voters and you put them all in a blender. And you hope that it all goes smoothly. And elections, it's like Broadway. It's got to go on no matter what. The show has to go on. So you do what you have to do to make it work and make it happen. But anyway, the grant item today, this is an application for our annual Act 88 of 2022 election integrity grant. This is a line of funding we are now getting from the state every year, which is fantastic. We didn't have that before. We hope it continues. Our grant amount for this year is $370,882.37. It has stayed right around in that $370,000 range the last several years, because every year our funding as a county is based on our share of all the state's registered voters. So however much our voter population, it could go up, it could go down, but it's a calculation based on how much did ours go up or go down relative to other counties. So it's like congressional apportionment, except we get to go through it every year instead of every 10 years. So this is our application to DCED, and then that money will be deposited, I believe, before September 1st.
Okay, great. Have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second. All fair side.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Forrest.
Thank you.
Comment.
All right, well, I'll just echo what Forrest just said. They, in his office, they only have 2 days a year that really need to go smoothly. But they work every other day to make sure those 2 days a year go smoothly, and they do. I'm new on the job. Mark's new on the job. When we came in, one of the things that they said is, you don't have to worry anything about the elections because they are like clockwork. And I've been here for the primary in the spring, and it was really a sight to behold, the teamwork and just the flow and the people who've done it year after year. And they have a wonderful crew, and Forrest and his people do a great job with that. My other comment is about, which I didn't know you guys were going to be here today, but you kind of play into it. Our community law leader, suddenly last week, his name was Lonnie Gamble. You saw they just did a benefit show with the stylistics.
Yeah.
Lonnie had been he was a rock star. He traveled the world, and he was, kind of in the Motown R&B genre. But and I met him. I came to meet him here later, and he ran a program called Capital, which was for local kids, and it was centered. There was the academic portion of it, but it was also centered around the performing arts because that was his baby. And I grew up in a sports family, and we played sports all the time, and there were no artistics. There was no other outlets other than sports. And I never realized how imbalanced we can be for our youth until I had kids of my own. And my oldest daughter was into sports, and my second daughter was not into sports. She hated them, and she wasn't very good at them. And she was a singer, actress, musician. And it wasn't until she got into middle school and she got into our community theater league that she really found her people. And Lonnie and I had this long discussion about, we have all these, and T-ball and all these sports get younger and younger and younger, but we need to continue to look for outlets for the kids who don't want to play baseball and football and soccer and basketball. And to see this as a sport that isn't typical. They don't have high school fight teams, and at least we don't. And it's kind of a different avenue. And to see the parents and the volunteers get so involved to give kids an outlet, whether they don't like football, whether they're not good at basketball, or whether they just don't want to do it, and this is what they want to do. And to have the ability to be involved and dedicated, and it's just they've done studies on this. The aspect of being involved with a team at a young age is so beneficial to their development. So I want to thank. I mostly want to thank the volunteers, because when you said it's all volunteer, it's like, we want to thank the adults who've made this possible for the kids and who had the foresight to start it. Because starting anything is hard. Keeping it going is a lot easier once somebody has the vision to start it and lay the groundwork. So kids, we didn't appreciate how lucky we were when we were kids. And I know you guys don't either, but you're fortunate to have the adults that are mentoring and guiding you into this, because any positive outlet for kids is good. And the more good ones we have, the better, that just get away from the traditional ones that we see all the time. And so we're thankful for this. We're thankful for the money and that you guys have a place to practice, and one of your guys needs more practice, we can see. So, so it's good that you're here. And again, back to Lonnie. There are a handful of people that when they're gone will really, really be missed far and wide by the community. And because of his talents and because he just sang over here when the Stylistics were, he just sang. And I know he was doing shows at a local, well, once a month this summer at a local establishment. So he will be missed for his, not only for his talents and his performance, but his impact on the youth of our community. It's a wonderful legacy he leaves, and it's very sad for us to see him go.
Comments. Lonnie was infectious with his enthusiasm. He was just talking this Friday, and he was here for the grand opening of our floor, and just sharing some more excitement about Kappa and what they're doing with Kappa. You know, I remember a story he shared with me that his father was a mailman. He lived in Philadelphia, grew up in Philadelphia, and his dad. A lot of the kids didn't have were single parent, and so Lonnie's dad was kind of like the dad in the neighborhood. He was a mailman. Everybody loved him. So he went to his dad one day and he says, I want to play the drums. So he said, okay, let's go buy a set of drums. So after a while, Dad, I'm not really digging the drums. I want to play the guitar. So he goes to his dad, I want to get a guitar. But his dad was wise. His dad says, I'm not getting you a guitar. You're going to sell your drums first. Then you're going to use the money to buy yourself a guitar. And that taught him a valuable lesson. And he said he got a lot of respect from his dad teaching him that lesson. And he went on to be a worldwide musician. I was at the concert here with the Stylistics. They had a great time that night. The whole community did. And he will be sorely missed. And we hope that Cap continues to carry on in his legacy.
And he was another one. He said all his brothers played sports. His brothers were athletes.
Yeah.
If he knew Lonnie was a little guy. He's like, I wasn't big enough to be a football player. I couldn't do it, but I could sing, and he could sing, and he could play. And he was fortunate that he had the opportunities and support to pursue his avenues. And that's what he passed on to so many kids.
Anything else? Mark, do you have anything?
I would add, I would echo both of you guys with Lonnie. He's a great loss to our community to have him gone. And I sure hope that the Kappa organization has a plan to place him and keep that moving forward, because it's a great program. If you lose that program, we'll lose something of great value in our community. And with the youth being there today, obviously it's very exciting to have a new Life Center coming. Great. And then, just to everybody, remember that next week we do have kids from all over the world showing up in Lycoming County, and parents and coaches, and let's keep them in our prayers as they travel. The excitement that they'll have while they're here, and let's treat them all respectful visitors to our community that they'll want to come back. As well, I think Scott or Mark may mention at the beginning. Good luck to all the children, young adults, that are in college here next week. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. A couple different things I'd like to make mention of the event this Saturday with the SIL. They're going to be having a event over behind their building over here on 3rd Street, a downtown parade. I'm not sure the time of the parade, but they'll be over here all day, bringing awareness to the diverse ability community. And if you have an opportunity to stop by there, please do so, as they do great work in our community, and we look forward to celebrating with them. Also on Saturday at 11 a.m. Up on the memorial up on West 4th Street for the veterans, they have a new memorial. It's for Purple Hearts, and we're going to have a ceremony at 11 a.m. for the Purple Heart recipients in the county. We are excited to be one of the 3 counties now state of Pennsylvania that is recognized as a Purple Heart County. And a sign on the courthouse this past week, correct? Last week. So if you go across the street to the courthouse, you'll see a beautiful sign that they gave to us to recognize the Purple Heart recipients in our county. So we look forward to that ceremony and recognizing those individuals in their service. And then Little League's been mentioned. Look forward to having that in our community for the next 2 weeks. And it's a fun time of the year for all the kids and families. The last thing I'd like to mention is last week brought to the attention of the community what the Lycoming County Commissioners have been doing for the past 4.5 years. And all the different projects that we've been doing regarding county government, making it more efficient for our customers. Went through a laundry list of those projects, ranging from the coroner to the third floor renovations here, to the selling of the Executive Plaza, bringing 100 corporate jobs to downtown Williamsport, putting that back on the tax rolls, having Charwell at lease end, and having mental health and children and youth now up on the 4th floor. And that rent comes to pay down on the bond on this building, and positive things that we're doing. We don't get elected to stay status quo. We get elected to make changes and do things more effective to serve our constituents and put us in office. With that said, we were moving forward on a project with the first floor renovations of this building, which would be the register and recorder coming over to the first floor. That way, the customers of the register and recorder's office no longer have to go through the metal detector. Everything would be on one floor and not 2 floors. Be better for the ADA people. And at the same time, it gave him more square footage. He has expressed to us for the last, well, since I've been here 4.5 years, he has expressed nothing's been done in my office since the construction of the courthouse since 1970. And if you walk into his office, he's right. He's out of room. At the same time, we had concerns about the security of the courthouse. We thought by moving him across the street, we could bring probation down to the first floor. So the probation clients that come into the building, they're not walking throughout the entire building. They're going to the old register and quarters office. They're going through the metal detector, going to the corner of that building, seeing our officers, and exiting out the courthouse when they're finished. That frees up the 3rd floor for the commissioner, or for the sheriff's office to have their office completed. When the courthouse was constructed in 1970, there was 2 judges. Now we have 7 courtrooms. We have 5 judges and 2 hearing officers, and they're all going at the same time. We have 2 holding cells. Can't hold all the defendants, so we need 4 holding cells. Plan was to have 2 in the basement, 2 upstairs. You would have inmates traveling between floors, security risk. So we felt it best to have it all on one floor, have the holding cells next to each other. It made more sense to do it like that. In late, I'd say mid-April, we approached the register recorder about this, and he was open to the idea as long as he had proper square footage. That was Commissioner Sortman and myself. We then went up and spoke to the president judge about what she thought. They have to understand, courthouse is the people's building. Not the judge's building, not the commissioner's building. It's the people's building. President Judge was in favor of those moves. Thought it was best that they happen. If you look at the county code, Article 5, Section 507, let's go to first of all, Article 4, Section 405. The county commissioners shall furnish each of such officers an office in the county building, courthouse, or other building at the county seat. So it's the commissioner's responsibility to provide adequate space. Article 5, County Commissioners and Chief Clerk, Commissioners, Section 507, talks about the office furniture, the stationery, everything else that goes along with those offices. It's our responsibility. Why? That said, we were highlighted these changes last week. I had stated that unfortunately the register recorder has taken a different approach, and he feels it's not necessary for his move to take place. We asked him to come to the table several times to work with us. We want him to be directly involved with the process. Every move we've made, every move, department head or elected official has been involved. From district justices being involved in the new buildings, the sheriff's build out, the controller, everybody was involved. We wanted him to be involved. This is his office. We wanted his staff to be involved. Who knows better in office but the staff? And long after the elected officials are gone, the staff usually is there. So it's important to hear from them. They work hard. We want them to be involved. Response that was received, Sun Gazette, after we made those statements on Thursday, is very disturbing. Mr. Huffman said, my only comment would be that I've been trying to get a meeting, discuss the issues for weeks now, and my request has been denied. That's all I have to say. So it's news to me that I'm not cooperating. So I'm going to take a few minutes to show you how inaccurate that statement is. After Commissioner Sortman and I went over and spoke to him, there was a meeting scheduled April 24th with the registry recorder, its staff, and the director, Mr. McDermott. That meeting happened. That was a good sign. May 21st, 2024, there was a site visit to Carbon County by our architect, by Director McDermott, by Ken George, who runs our facilities management, and Mr. Huffman. Mr. Huffman was concerned about square footage. He emphasized that to Carbon County folks. And they told him not to be so hung up on square footage, because what happened in 1970 is different than 2024. Storage is much different. Shelving is much different. It makes big things much more efficient. That was a positive meeting. Something happened between May 21st and June 3rd. Because he was invited to discuss a new space design concept, and he declined the meeting due to an internal audit of his office. So Director McDermott stopped by his office to touch base with him, and he told him he didn't have time to meet with him. Understandable. He's in the middle of an audit. Director McDermott follows up in an email requesting when's a good time to tour your office and meet with your staff and the architect and the director of facilities and management. June 4th, we have a row officers meeting right here in this meeting room. Mr. Huffman comes over. He's asking us questions. He wanted to read a statement. Instead, he's asking questions. He wasn't happy with our answers or lack thereof answers. Got up and left the meeting. He's in the hallway. Commissioner Sortman asked him to please return to the meeting room. He refused to do so. He left. Commissioner Sortman followed up with an email asking him if his questions would have been answered if he would have stayed. He chose not to. I followed up on Commissioner Sortman's email that day and asked him, please come back to the table and meet with us. No response to my email. June 7th, invite registry recorder staff. They were to go over The register recorder responded to the email stating that he was not in favor of any move from the courthouse, and that he received no cooperation to a verbal or written request for square footage. And in good faith, he was pursuing an independent elected official. Register recorder was setting up an appointment with his own consultant and his own architect to complete the analysis. He informed us that any visitation by anyone to his office would not be well received. Where's the cooperation? At that point, he started copying the solicitor and the state solicitor. Over the course of the last few months, his solicitor has told him to cooperate. His state solicitor has told him to cooperate. Director McDermott, our architect, Mr. George, went to the meeting, 1 o'clock. They saw him out back at the courthouse. They said hello to him. He kept his head down, walked past them. They went into the register recorder's office at 1 o'clock. He came out of his office. Now he knows these folks. And he says, "Hi, I'm Dave Huffman. I'm your register recorder. Welcome to the register recorder's office. Our hours are such and such. The public research area is located over here. This is a staff that will not be available to meet with you. You may go to the public research area to take pictures if you choose to do so." The director told him this was ridiculous, and they left. June 11th, an email sent to him. Responded, "I'm not available to meet until Wednesday, June 19th. He was out of the office. June 19th, email sent to him to meet with him. Director McDermott said that I have a drawing that may be beneficial to show to you. No meetings or discussions without solicitor involvement, being his solicitor, and I'll be back next week. Director McDermott dropped over to his office and gave him the plans. He didn't want to look at them. He placed them in a sealed envelope until he could present them to his solicitor. June 22nd, another email sent to him requesting a meeting. No reply. June 25th, another email sent to him to discuss either on June 26th or June 27th to discuss the functions and flow of the office. No reply. June 26th, invite to meet on June 27th at 1 o'clock to discuss the flow and functions of your office. At that time, we were informed by the county solicitor there'd be no meeting until a letter from the registry recorder's office was received. We received one on July 3rd. It was dated July 2nd. In the letter, he wanted his own solicitor. He wanted his own architect. He wanted a project manager hired to assist him, and he wanted a mediator. All three commissioners have talked about this. We're not hiring a separate architect. We're not hiring a project manager. And we're not going to be involved in a mediator. This is wasted money. July the 3rd, sent an email to Adrian Stoll, who's a court administrator, Judge Butts. They had no agreement on additional square footage. As a result, I do not move. July the 9th. Again, an email sent to him, asking him for his participation in helping us. July the 9th, a letter sent from the law firm, McCormick Law, to the state solicitor, asking him to please have him help us. Now it gets interesting. July 23rd. We give him blueprints showing that he has new space downstairs by an additional 923 square feet. So his square footage argument that he was concerned about, first floor, yes. We found that we have additional square footage because what he had over at the original courthouse wasn't as much as he thought it was, because there's a hearing room officer over there and there's a courtroom. So we have additional more square footage for him. The blueprints are delivered. He asked him to respond to an invite. No reply to July 24th. So July 24th happens. And this is mind-boggling. After not receiving any response, Director McDermott hand delivers a copy showing him he has 21% increase in space over the current space that he has. At the end of the day, he goes over to his office. And Dave's in his office. He has his door open. There's no staff around. He proceeds to speak to him in the doorway. And the register recorder would not acknowledge him. He made many statements to him. Dave, I'm here. He got up from his chair, slowly walked over to the door, and closed it on our director's face. What kind of respect is that? That's not cooperation. That's not someone who wants to schedule a meeting and work with a team. We invited him back July 25th. He didn't show up downstairs. I actually went down to the meeting myself. And the plans were starting to be drawn out. We have a copy of those initial draft blueprints. Anyone can look at them. Show them to the press. It's a beautiful design. We're moving ahead. Right here's the blueprints. Ahead with this project, because it's what's in the best interest of the county. We want the register recorder to be involved, as every elected official and department head has been involved. We are a team here at the county. Not about I, it's about us. But his actions are being an obstructionist. He's being an obstructionist, but what's best for county government? It's not just only affects his office. It affects the sheriff's office. It affects probation. It affects the flow of security throughout the courthouse.
Say too, you're following county code.
And we're following county code.
You're not being obstructionist or causing an issue. And I'm speaking primarily because I don't want it to come across that commissioners are causing a problem. I'm trying to step carefully into my statement. That's okay.
That's fine. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
July 30th, another email sent to him with the drawings. No response. August 2nd, the day after our meeting here, brought this to everybody's attention. And he says, so it's news to me that I'm not cooperating. He contacted our facilities and management, wanted a key downstairs. He doesn't have a key. I don't have a key. He doesn't have a key. Ken George has the key. We said, we'll meet you down there. Tuesday, no show. Brings us to today. So when someone says, I've been trying to get a meeting to discuss the issues for weeks now, and my request has been denied, that's all I had to say. So it's news to me that I'm not cooperating. We just showed we've bent over backwards to try to work with him. He's choosing not to meet and work with us. So today, filing a court action for injunction and relief, speak to his staff, because he has told us that we cannot speak to his staff, that we don't want them to have retaliation or be threatened being fired or disciplinary actions. So we're filing a court action to make sure that doesn't happen. Again, this is all unnecessary. We're a team here at the county, and we want to remain a team. His objection was square footage. We satisfied that. We haven't heard a word from him to understand why he doesn't want to cooperate. We hope going forward that he gets the message loud and clear that we want him to cooperate and work with us and help design his office going forward. It hasn't been updated in 54 years. Who in the world would not want to come to the table, update an office, and have input in it? It's mind-boggling. Does not make any sense whatsoever. So we hope his mindset changes. If not, this office will go forward without him. And we'll get the input that we need, move forward, and advance the county the way it should be. Thank you. Any statement?
Yeah, I'll give like a 90-second summation, I promise. When Mark and I got here, they were halfway through this project, and there had been a million plans, and because it's not easy. Like, what if we do this, and what if we put, because we had this whole building, and we had 6 floors, and what do we put where, and what do we move where? And throughout the process, there was a point where the sheriff's office was going to be split, and some was going to be on the 3rd floor, and some was going to be in the basement. As Scott said, we're going to have holding cells on different floors, and they were willing to do it. The sheriff's office was willing to do it if it was best, but we knew it wasn't optimal. We wanted to use the basement for storage and processing. We didn't want people stationed in the basement, but they were willing to do it if it was best for the team. We thought we need to come up with another plan. Then adult probation came to us and said, what if we split our operations and we leave some of our operations in the courthouse and we move our administrative offices across the street? We said, well, that's not optimal. They said, well, we know it's not optimal, but we have to do something. And if it's best for the county, that's what we'll do. And then somebody came up with the idea of, well, what if we move the register and recorder's office? Because those people don't really need the security of the courthouse. They don't need the metal detectors. And it hasn't been updated in 50 years. So we can build them a new state-of-the-art, whatever. We can build a new facility that lasts for the next 50 years. And it makes the world better for APO, and it makes the world better for the sheriff's office. And it seemed to work for everyone. And that's why we were doing it. We weren't trying to do it to be difficult. We weren't doing it to be mean to the register and recorder's office. It was best for the team. And what we feel is unfortunate about is not only have we tried, but so many other departments have kind of said, well, this doesn't really work for us, great, but we'll do it for the good of the team. And we kept saying, well, no, we want to make it so it works for everyone. We thought we had this solution, and we still think it's the solution. And it's just unfortunate that everyone else has cooperated and the register and recorder has not. And I know there's a fear in moving, not a fear in moving. Moving is a hassle for everyone that's ever moved their house or whatever. I didn't want to move across the street. And I was only in that office for 4 months. But now that I'm here, I love it. I understand the benefits way outweigh the negatives of moving. And it was a hassle for a couple days. And because the staff did great. And I understand why anyone is nervous about moving their office. But everyone, the staff has done a great job, and this move has been wonderful in so many ways. So I haven't met anyone over here who doesn't like the move. So anyway, yeah, I agree with Scott. We were disheartened when we saw that he said it is news to him that he's not cooperating. He's been trying to get a meeting because it's just not true.
I'll also add that on 2 occasions over the last 6 weeks, I have walked over to his office and asked to meet with him. Both times he was not available. He was in his office, came to the door, saw it was me, said he was not available. And I asked him to please contact me. And my phone's still waiting to be ringing. I've yet to hear from him.
And that's what all we want to do is meet with the staff. We want to meet with the staff so they can lay it out. We don't know how to lay out a registered recorder's office. We don't work there, but they do. And long after we're gone, 50 years from now, hopefully, that if we do it right, well, it'll last a long time. Long after all of us are no longer holding office, no longer even, above ground, that office will still be functioning. And we just want their input because they are the experts. And that's all we're asking for, just their expert input. And so many of their staff have been there for a long time, like they know it. That's it. Oh, I got.
I think the most disappointing thing is the lack of cooperation with him, not even calling us back, not coming to the table to even express his concerns. He's closing the door in the face of our director, who has bent over backwards to assist him over the last 5 years. And that's not professionalism. It's time to stop acting like a kid. Act like an adult, come to the table. Mr. Sorman, you have anything?
I would just add, I think the thing that discourages me the most, comment made with some regret that he's been trying to get an appointment when obviously the truth is the complete opposite. That concerns me that we would all have the official would blatantly say that to the newspaper. That bothers me. As for the move itself, as I said last week in our meeting, end of the day, we have to make a final decision. We are trying to manage with the input, his staff, so this is done properly. At the end of the day, we still have to make a decision. We've made our decision where the registered recorder's office goes. Read in the bylaws, county, we have every right to do so. 3 of us, well, with many other staff members and elected officials in the county, believe this is the correct move. Give us 20 to 50 years of no storage in the courthouse, better flow of government. It's got to move forward. It's time for him to step up, give us the answers, let us talk to his staff. It's been completed.
You bring up another good item also is the pathonetarian's office needs additional storage space, DA's office, domestics, and that would all be utilized in the basement of the courthouse. They would have that space that they need for basically another generation.
And it frees up. I mean, when as Commissioner Messina said, when the 2 marks came in, these things were already in place. Plans were to put people, offices in the basement. I don't know that any employee here was in favor of that. They were willing to do it. It shows the cooperation of those other departments. All 3 current commissioners said it's a bad idea to have to go in the basement. And this fixes that by this one move. It's just a smart thing to do across the board.
Okay, thank you. We have a public comment. Sheriff. And Krista, thank you for your comments.
Morning, Commissioners. I just wanted to thank you for the transfer of Deputy Jordan Byer, a full-time to part-time position. What that does is it allows him to work part-time, which is primarily down front where we screen. Previous Board of Commissioners, when we went from the Securitas disaster, private company, and found out it would cost virtually the same to have part-time deputies. If I could get part-time deputies, it would be a much better venture because deputies are armed, they're trained, they're able to intercept a lot of weapons. So we don't get 100% of the staff we have from the part-time group. I'd like to have 100% coverage down front with a 4,000 hour allocation. But that's a perfect storm with part-timers. They have to work when you need them and you have to need them when they want to work. So you don't get 100%. We're probably running about 70% of the budgeted amount each year. And the importance of that is the 30% of the part-timers not covering, we have to pull from the court force. We have to pull full-time deputies cover down front because we don't get 100% coverage. We have part-timers who want to go on vacation. And my position would be, well, if say Mark Messine was a part-time deputy, he said, I'm going to Florida, Sheriff. I have two choices to say, okay, hurry back, or we're not going to use you. So we don't cut our nose off to spite our face, right? That screening down front is critical. You know, we're intercepting 30 to 40 guns that we're seizing a year, typically 30 to 40 a year, through our screening system and our mags and our X-ray unit. And over probably 1,100 to 1,200 other weapons are coming into the courthouse annually. So we stop virtually, we'd like to think 100% of the weapons that come into the building. So that screening helps. And the point I want to make is it's interesting and it's really rewarding when I think a mark of a good office. I don't pat myself on the back as much as they do the chief deputy in the backs, Chief Spiegel, and my supervisory staff. When you have staff that leave, and we've had this in my 15 years, who come back. Part-time staff come back, for part-time, full-time staff leave and come back full-time. Christy Ship, who announced now I'm gonna fire you and I'm quitting. She goes to the bank and our office manager comes back and this board lets her come back and she can work every position in our office without having the legacy costs as Deputy Byer will not have the legacy costs coming back as part-time. So I just want to thank you for the fact that you look at the benefit to the community and how we lessen our expenses by doing the right thing sometimes. And I do want to make one comment about the moves. My office has sat, except for my now administrative office that this board has helped me to get finished where we are now. My admin offices are incredibly modern. My operations office with my deputy group are working in a workspace that's 54 years old when this courthouse was built. Those two cells that you mentioned, Commissioner Metzger, the same two cells in May of 1970 when the courthouse opened. Lycoming County Prison in May of 1970 I have the data, I'm a data guy, as you guys know, had 34 inmates, county system. Our inmate numbers now, if you consider all the facets of the program, as far as PRC, and Beverly's, and the prison and male and female, 300 to 400 inmates that are in the system. We have over 10 pending murder trials. We stuck in those cells 10 to 15 to 20 individuals in an 8x10 cell. It is critical that we have the additional space. I for one, and I think Commissioner Sorman mentioned it. I said, look, if it means we have to split my office and put part of us in the basement, I will do it. I want to be a partner. The commissioners said, no, that doesn't make sense. And we were able to put a plan together, which I think is an incredibly good plan that would keep us on the same floor for a lot of safety reasons. So it's unfortunate, but the sheriff's office, for one, has been a partner and always been a team player with the department. And we appreciate your support.
Thank you.
I think another comment while someone else is coming up. When Scott said, we don't get elected to stay status quo, there's not an implication that other commissioner groups did it wrong, but as the sheriff just pointed out, things just change. As storage space runs out, we need to come up with more storage spaces. He talked about the increase in prisoners at the prison and in the holding cells. And as Scott mentioned, we went from 2 courtrooms to 7 courtrooms. Things just change and we need to adapt to meet the changes. And, after we're gone, there's going to be commissioner groups that have to make changes that we've done to adapt to whatever comes in the future. So we're not implying that other groups did it wrong. It's just, the world changes and we have to change with it.
So 108 days. 108 days of delays, unnecessary delays. We need Mr. Huffman to come to the table, stop the delays and work with us. Anybody else from the public? Yes.
So I have some online comments. Thomas Adams. Good morning. I'm curious as to whether there are fines imposed upon motor vehicle operators that are responsible for causing accidents at the Route 15 spur. I think the county and the city should be able to recoup all expenses associated with rescue, cleanup, traffic control due to the reckless driving. The warnings are there. This should apply to private and commercial operators. I suppose the county may not have power to fine, but I suspect the city does, unless PennDOT has the sole authority. Hopefully, if PennDOT is the sole authority, they will do include costs to the county and city. For reimbursement, including any necessary volunteer companies for expenses and a stipend for services. Pray for America. Lyco Secrets. Who will maintain liability for the mountain bike park? Harper will try. Very glad to hear the commissioners are expressing support for progress, diversity, accessibility. Stagnation and homogenization are not paths to long-term success.
Okay, thank you. I think the city have the liability of the bike park on it because it's in the city. Yeah.
The city of Park.
It's a city-owned park, yes.
Sure how police work for the state roads. But PennDOT did install the flashing curb signs to help remind people about the turn and slow people down. I think not all, but most of the signs have been taken out with crashes
There's a couple.
and have been replaced.
The challenge is that the flashing signs are in the curb.
Okay, do we have any other comments? Hearing none, we have completed our agenda, so we'll be adjourned to Thursday, August 15th, 2024 at 10 a.m. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Thank you, Mark.